Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers, Gina behind the screen there.
There we go.
That's what we're talking about.
Welcome to Fromage with Friends number 4. Today we're going to be talking about Chevre, all kinds of goat cheese. A little information about the YouTube account. Now, in order to ask questions on the video, you don't have to have a YouTube account anymore. So you could just type away, ask us all kinds of questions. We have Gina behind the camera. She's going to be asking us the questions, so we'll be answering them for you. Before we get started, my name's Sarah. I'm the manager up here at Del Mar. This is Kristina. She's been here about a year now.
Yes.
Rachel is our newest Fromage with Friend here. She's going to bring an interesting perspective. She just got her CCP certification, which means she is a certified cheese professional. You have to work in cheese for at least 2 years and then take this big, long, boring test. And she passed, so
It's
congratulations.
really long and boring. I would agree with that. There are math components. It's a whole thing. But thank you.
Yeah, she's going to bring all kinds of good, weird science bacteria facts. So that's always fun. So what are we eating today?
We are eating goat cheese. Now, goat cheese, you want to hold up the plate a little bit? Now, goat cheese elicits really strong reactions. Either people love it or they hate it. And when people come in and they say, like, oh, I don't eat goat cheese, I'm like, you just haven't found a goat cheese you like yet. So today we have 5, so hopefully at least one of them will work. We have Humboldt Fog here, and we got the cranberry Chevre here, Capriccio Cabra, Pantaleo, and Yay Toast, and we included some bacon chocolate. Yeah. Dates, honeycomb, you got your crackers, dried cherries, blueberries, and I think that's it. I can't see anything.
Oh, sorry. There you go.
Yeah, so. Oh, and what we're drinking. What are we drinking, Sarah?
Oh, so today, move it up in here. We have a really great Sauvignon Blanc from the Alexander Valley in Sonoma. This was actually recently one of our Wino Wednesday wines. So one of our favorites. I personally love a Sauvignon Blanc with goat cheese. I just like the light, acidic citrus notes in wine really matches the cheese. So that's my go-to. Maybe you'll find that you like something different. Maybe you're drinking something different at home. I think we have a surprise little later, a different beverage we'll be trying with one of the cheeses. So we'll show you a little bit of that. But cheers for now. More wine. Cheers again.
Cheers,
All right,
again.
cheers again.
Double cheers, guys. Double cheers.
And to the floating glass over there somewhere.
Yeah, so again, when you're tasting the wine with the cheese, taste the cheese first on its own, then taste the wine, then kind of put some cheese in your mouth, taste the wine, and swirl them together and see if it's a perfect pairing or not.
Yeah. All right, so right away, looking at the plate, you can tell that there's goat cheese comes in all different textures. I think a lot of time people assume that goat or Chevre is a soft cheese, and Chevre just means goat in French. So as long as it's made with goat's milk, it's called Chevre. So the first one we're going to talk about, I think, is Humboldt Fog, which is up in the corner with that little gray line going through the middle.
All right, let's dig in.
Again.
Oh, I did have a fun fact. It may not be fun.
All right,
before
get
we
started.
start. I know. Everyone's going to be like, these are not fun. I don't know about this.
What's your kind of fun?
I did learn that the U.S. introduction to goat cheese was actually through Laura Chanel, who you may have heard of, seen her name on goat logs in stores. She started her very tiny operation in California in 1979. We got dates and everything, guys. It's happening. But Alice Waters of Chez Panisse fame in Berkeley, she tasted the goat cheese, loved it so much, and included it on one of her salads starting in 1981. So that's how people kind of became aware of goat cheese in the U.S. Apparently, she served it breaded and baked. It sounded amazing on a salad. So anyway, that was just a fun fact I picked up.
Wow.
I didn't know that. Thank you.
The first time I had Humboldt Fog, this was probably 8 years ago, maybe. I was in college, in culinary school. I was on the competition team.
Ooh.
We were up in San Francisco for our competition, and it was pouring down rain. This was the one day off from the competition, so we're looking around San Francisco. It's pouring rain, so we're looking where can we just duck in and go get something to eat before the rain goes away. We found this random 42 taps, 76, a number, and taps is all about beer taps, but I was just focused on the cheese plate. It had Humboldt Fog. They marketed it as a local cheese because it was pretty close to San Francisco. And I couldn't find it anywhere else until I came back to San Diego and I looked at Finissimo, and that's where I found it. So I was a long-time shopper before I started working here, but because they had my favorite cheese.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah.
That's a fun story. I like that. All right, so Humboldt Fog is a bloomy rind, soft ripened cheese, and it has a very distinguishing gray line that runs through it. It's produced by Cypress Grove in Northern California, and it's named for the thick morning fog, the ocean fog that goes through Humboldt. It was bought up by the founder of Cypress Grove, Mary Keene. She had a dream about it when she was flying back from France, and so she came back home. She was like, I know how I'm going to make it, made it. Nobody bought it. And it wasn't until the New York Times wrote about it that people started buying it, and then the rest is history, and we're here. It's a really good, I think, like a gateway goat cheese. So if you aren't a fan and you just want to kind of start, it's a good one to try, because it's not too goaty. That's a word that people use a lot when they talk about goat cheese, but it's lemony, mild, I think.
Yeah.
You'll notice the rind on it. It's completely edible, odorless, tasteless really, so don't be afraid to eat it. And you'll notice, if you haven't eaten it already, there's what would you say?
The cream line.
The cream line. So goat cheese will age from the outside in, and the cheese inside will just get stronger as time goes by. So when you see that cream line, it's a good thing. So
Yeah, maybe stronger on the cream line too. Have a little bit more funkiness, because that's like the older piece of it is on the outside.
Do you want to talk about how it's made?
How it's made.
I can talk about how it's made.
Yeah.
So, Humboldt Fog is made with pasteurized goat's milk. All goat cheese has to be made with pasteurized milk in the U.S., which is after 60 days, I believe. Is that correct?
After 60 days, yeah, you have to, anything under 60 days, it can't be raw milk.
Thank you, expert over here. Thank you. Okay, so pasteurized goat's milk is in a vat. They add the cultures and the coagulates.
Yeah.
And then it starts to curdle, and then they'll take the curds and they put it in a press, and then they put the ash. And we'll talk more about what ash is in a little bit. And then they put more cheese on top, and then they start to age it. And it takes about 10 days, and every day they'll turn it, flip it over daily, and then it'll start to look like this. So the ash, when they ash it, it's black, like super dark, and then it turns into this. And you can kind of see like the faint line, but it helps the ripening process, and so that's why you get this little bloomy rind.
Yeah, I was also reading that they brush it with Penicillium candidum bacteria. I just realized. Which is what they brush, as far as I know, brie with, to try to help with the rind. So that was interesting, I thought, and it helps with that white, because you put the ash, because some of those other ash ripened goat cheeses, like from France, have that like darker color, but this one has the white, right, and they stay ashy. So this one has that kind of white on top of the ash, which is interesting.
So it's another mold that grows on the ash.
Yeah, but I think they brush it on.
Yeah,
They encourage it. Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
It's another mold that grows on.
I didn't realize it only took 10 days.
Yeah,
That's
pretty
insane.
long. Yeah. There's a lot of misconceptions, I think, with goat cheese. Another big one is that people come in thinking Humboldt Fog is a blue cheese, and it's not. That gray line is ash. It's a vegetable ash. It's made out of usually like burned vegetation. So like Humboldt Fog, I know, uses white pine. You could use grape leaves too, I think.
Like the vine clippings.
Yeah, the vine clippings and things like that.
It's a cool way to repurpose stuff.
Oh yeah,
It feels sustainable.
Yeah, no, totally. And there's a long history of using ash in cheese. Legend has it that Morbier was a cheese made in France, where they would do 2 milkings, an evening and a morning. And so they'll milk the cows, and to protect the cheese overnight, they'll sprinkle the ash over it, and then in the morning they'll put the fresh curd on top. And so it would have that layer, and Humboldt Fog is kind of an ode to that. Like, I keep touching the cheese, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I want to like show them, I'm so excited. Yeah, so it kind of looks like that. And the ash also helps, because goat cheese is really acidic, and so the the ash will help raise the pH and the ripening process and the mold and all that. So ash is really beneficial to cheese. And
it looks nice.
and it looks really cool. Yeah.
My friend used Humboldt Fog as her wedding cake, like just a wheel of Humboldt Fog.
That's
it was
so
awesome,
cute.
and then just cut slices from it. It was really cool.
That is
Because it looks like a piece of cake when you like
Yeah,
put it
like
on
a
inside.
slice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they come in different size wheels. They have little 1 pound wheels, which is what we used on the plate, so that way you can get this little perfect cute piece. And they also come in 5 pound wheels, which is like a little
Isn't
cake.
that called the Grande?
Yeah,
like
it's
Humboldt
the
Fog
Grande,
Grande.
That's funny. And then something else I wanted to talk about was in like 2014, ash was like European cheeses that had ash in it, they weren't allowed to import them because it wasn't on the approved food coloring agent list. And so like for like 2 years, domestic cheeses I think were okay. I think it was just like an import thing, but they figured it out, and now we get to enjoy European ash cheeses.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Question from Annie Johnson.
Oh.
Do you
Oh,
know her?
Annie.
Yeah, former monger
Who's-
and our favorite.
And who says,
Annie.
ladies, you look fabulous. The white ash, you talked about being white ash. Is it from a white ash tree, the ash?
Oh, a white pine.
White pine.
Yes.
Aha.
So it's the type of tree, wood.
I mean, I assume they grow around there.
Yeah. So they just burn that and then they use that ash. And I just thought, I was watching a video of when they were ashing the cheese, and it looks so crazy because it looks nothing like this when it first starts, and it's like really cool to
It's
see.
like black. It's like
Yeah.
it looks like black.
Yeah, it looks like
cheese.
crushed Oreo on the cheese.
Cookies and cream.
Yes, yes,
Humboldt Fog.
yes.
That might be really good. I mean, they do those remixes, you know.
Oh,
so
Like
Yeah.
a sweet remix.
Yeah.
We'll call them. Yeah, Humboldt Fog.
We'll call Mary.
Yeah, we'll call Mary Key. They
I had
do
a dream, Mary, with Oreos.
The remixes they do, I think seasonally, kind of here and there, they put something else down the center line. So there's a psychedelic remix that they have a cheese called psychedelic, D-I-L-L as in dill. So it's got that kind of dill flavor throughout the cheese. They do I think they call it Sergeant Pepper. It has the hot pepper down the center. I think they did what's the other one with the fennel?
Purple haze.
The Purple Haze.
Yeah,
they do a
Purple
haze
Haze.
remix with fennel down
I think
the
they
center.
did do a lavender one too.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I think so too. Yeah, I've seen lavender.
So all
Oreo.
different. Oreo. Oreo's next. But we have a couple other cheeses here that are coated in ash that we didn't include, but kind of look cool. This is Montenegro. This is a Spanish aged, semi-aged goat cheese. We call this one a little bit funkier. It's definitely a more pungent flavor, but you can see how different it looks with the darker ash on the outside.
you know why I think, by the way, I just read about this. They put Penicillium roqueforti on that one.
Oh.
Yeah, so which is like the blue cheese, which of course now everyone's gonna get confused. Like it's a blue cheese, is it not inside, just on the
around the
rind.
outside?
So if you eat the rind, and I bet it does give it some of that funkiness.
This is definitely the funky goat.
Yeah. So anyway, not to confuse people wildly, but there you go.
Then we have Sophia. This is from Capriole, which is from Indiana, I believe. So this one is a really cute little brick. I think Kristina was going to mention how goat cheeses come in so many different shapes too. So this is this little brick. It's about 1.5 pounds. But this one actually has, it doesn't show here, but has 2 lines of ash down it, like Humboldt Fog does, but 2 different ones. And it was just so cute.
And Judy Shad of Capriole was one of the original, they call them American goat ladies. So it's Mary Keene of Cypress Grove, Judy Shad, and then I think like Redwood Hill Farm is another one. Back in the 80s, they were really like ramping up the goat cheese. So I don't know if this is like Mary's got 1 line, Judy's got 2, like what's going on here?
Trying to one up each other.
That's funny. And ash, you can use it in soft cheese and some hard cheese too. So it's not just soft. So I thought that was interesting too.
Because like Morbier, I don't know, we've never had it since you've been here. It's like semi-soft
Semi-soft.
texture.
Oh,
We'll have to get some for a holiday time.
yes, please. Yes, please. And then, does everyone like it? The Humboldt Fog? What do people think?
Ryan loves it. So, well done.
Good. Has anyone paired it with anything on the plates?
I think it looks so pretty.
Oh, I bet it'd be really good
Yeah.
with the honey too.
Oh, yes.
Local Temecula honeycomb.
Temecula honey, yeah.
Excuse me.
And then like using like something sweet, I think is good, like the dates or the honey with the cheese. They go really well together. And a lot of times people will describe cheese as like goaty, funky, barnyardy, but that's not always the case. It could be mild, it could be tangy, it could be sweet. So don't get scared.
I have another science fact. Is this too many
Please.
science
No.
facts? Okay.
We like it.
So those goaty flavors, and you, I think, have an explanation later on that I didn't know about with the male goats and stuff. Maybe you can go into. But just briefly, those goaty flavors were actually, they're free fatty acids that are causing those flavors, and they're named after goats. So I think capra is like the Latin name for goat, and so caproic acid and caprylic acid. Does that sound right?
Cool.
Those flavor, that's what they named it after. It's kind of like a goaty, barnyardy taste.
Wow.
So there you go.
This doesn't taste goaty to me.
No.
Like,
No.
Yeah.
Okay, we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, lemony.
Citrusy. Yeah.
Yeah, citrusy. Yeah.
My parents only eat Humboldt Fog, and they'll invite me over for dinner just so that I can bring Humboldt Fog. And they're like, "Oh, you want to come stay for dinner? Oh, why don't you bring some cheese as an appetizer? You know what we like." I'm like, okay, just Uncle Humboldt Fog every time. But
Yeah, last Thanksgiving we were all making trays for our families, and we're like, Sarah, where's yours? She's like, I got it. It was like a huge chunk of Humboldt Fog.
that's
That's funny.
Kristen loves it with the honey.
Oh,
yay.
Mm-hmm.
Freshness is really like important with goat cheese because the older the milk of the cheese, the more goaty it's going to be. And the fact that you were talking about was during breeding, they have to keep the male and female goats separate because the males produce a very strong hormone that will affect the milk, which will affect the cheese, and it will be goaty. And that's not necessarily what people want sometimes.
keep the boys out.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I thought that
Keep
was
the
like-
boys out.
Yeah.
And weren't you saying something about like, we'll get more into that later, about the seasons of goat cheese.
Oh, yeah,
we'll
you
talk
have
about
all,
it,
yeah.
So, I'm ready for the next cheese.
Me too.
Let's do it.
Okay. So this is Pascal Bayveer Cranberry Chevre from, I know how to say it, Loire
The Loire Valley.
Valley.
There you go.
We're all practicing our French here.
Yes,
so
yes.
I'm sure
You
Gina
can
can
practice
help
at
us.
France is the leading producer of goat cheeses in the world, and Loire Valley does 70% of goat cheeses in France. So that's the spot. Pascal Bayveer is like a rock star in the cheese world. So he is a producer and an entrepreneur, which is an ager of cheese. And so he has a really unique business model. He makes everything artisan. He makes cream, yogurt, cheese, and butter. And he's one of the last producers who do like the old style with like the wooden churn. Is that what it's called? With the stick?
Yeah, oh,
yeah,
really?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
they churn-
Yeah, they
hand
still do
churn
that.
butter?
Yeah, yeah.
I wish
With
I
like
could
the
get that
paddles.
butter.
Oh, yes.
Paddle the butter.
Yes, yes, yes.
Shapes it into its little cube.
Yes.
Oh, really? Is that what that's cool? We need to get one of those.
Yes.
Add it to the list. Gina.
Our next
Yes,
in-person
yes.
event, we can just pass it around. Everybody's got to churn for a little bit.
Sign up for the class. Make your own butter. That's great. And so this one is covered with cranberries, but you can shove like a soft, fresh goat cheese like this. We'll have apricot. I've seen blueberries,
Fresh herbs.
herbs, all sorts of things. I like this one the best, I think.
I actually have never tried this
I
before.
haven't either. I was just gonna say. I mean, I assumed I knew what it tasted like, and
That's good.
it's so sweet and like tart, like a sweet tart of cheese. Which, I mean, it's cranberries, but I figured the cheese would be savory and the cranberries would be sweet. But I feel like the cheese is also so sweet.
You can keep that one if you want.
Like cheesecake.
Yeah, like cheesecake.
Yeah.
This is
Yep.
this is how
It's
it comes.
very good.
This is the apricot one because we were out of the cranberry, but it comes in this cute little package.
Mm-hmm.
The apricot one is really good too. I have had that one.
Apricot. And that was a question from Kristen. Love the cranberries, but other fruits that they roll it in. Cranberries.
Mm-hmm. That's all I know
Yeah.
from the Pascal Bayveer.
Holidays, gingerbread crackers. Gingerbread.
Really?
Oh.
The espis something. Espis, I can't pronounce it, but
Yeah.
at holidays, yes.
This is so good because it's so tart inside.
Yeah.
I think like it's still.
Definitely a good dessert cheese if you're looking to make like a dessert cheese
Yeah,
board.
or don't you put that on the top of some of the celebration cakes
Yeah,
people get?
some of the
cheese
cake is the cutest little topper on a cake because it's colorful and cute and little and soft and it's easy to kind of dig at from the top.
Papaya too, by the way.
Papaya.
Papaya.
Oreos.
Should be.
Oreo brand.
Should be Oreos.
Maybe Trader Joe's. I don't know.
Call Pascal.
Have a lot of people to call.
Mary, Pascal.
On a first name basis. And we're lucky because there was a time where Bayveer cheese wasn't imported. In 2014, FDA had all these new strict guidelines and everything, and they couldn't, the whole line could not be imported, and so they had to make changes to the facilities, they had to change their catalog, and for 2 years, no Bayveer cheese, which is really sad.
And he does a lot of our, we have some other of our cheeses. You said the Oso Arati and
Tome Brulee,
Comté.
is Comté. We carry a lot of, or Forme d'Ambert, the blue cheese.
So when you're at the shop and you see that name,
It's special.
it's special, it's a good pick, so go for it.
I'm trying to think if I worked here then when we couldn't get his cheeses. 2016?
Maybe before.
Yeah. Well, I'm hitting 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, where does the time go?
Wow.
So it comes right about 2016, but still, yeah, he makes or ages some of our favorite cheeses.
And then we talked about the different shapes. We already did that. And then there's a lot of health benefits to goat cheese too. Goat cheese is lower in calories than cow's milk. So goat cheese like it's 75 calories per ounce, whereas cheddar would be 112 or something like
I
that.
say no need to count, but I understand that this is
I'm
important
with Rachel.
information
Yes.
for others.
If it makes you feel better, you know, if you're like,
Some people do need to watch,
Yes.
for diet. And people do come in
Hello.
asking for like low sodium
Yes,
cheeses.
yes,
Somebody has a
yes.
wedding
I
coming
need a
up.
fitness.
so this is perfect.
I know, I'm gonna eat the goat
Perfect.
cheese.
And then goat cheese also has more vitamins and minerals than cow's milk. So vitamin B, vitamin A, calcium, iron, potassium, magnesium, everything on the side of the box. Like, this is all there. And it's also easier to digest. Do you want to talk about why it's easier to digest?
Science time.
Where's your lab?
You
coat?
could
a laptop and like a
Oh,
diagram.
man, guys. We were talking about this earlier. Apparently, the micelles is a word, but like the globules, if that makes sense, they're smaller, so it's easier to digest. We were also talking earlier about how goat cheese does have a little bit less lactose. I think it was like 0.8% less. However, when I was taking my classes for the CCP, we talked with the Center for Dairy Research, and they said that this amount of lactose is pretty much negligible. So it turns out that people who feel like they can eat goat and sheep's milk cheeses without feeling sick, as opposed to cow's milk, maybe have a cow's milk allergy. Those globules might be bigger, it's harder to digest, it might be something more related to that than lactose. But everybody feels the way that they feel, and whatever makes them feel good and feel bad, that's what it is. So don't really need to put a name on it.
So like the protein structure is different.
Yeah.
Right. Which would also explain why goat's milk is like the texture is different from cow's milk too, because I think if goat's milk has less casein, and so that's why it stays soft, because there's no protein to harden. Is that? Yeah. That sounds right.
The only goat cheese, the cow cheese that I feel like has the same, like a similar consistency to the Humboldt Fog is the long gray. Have you guys?
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Inside, which I always
That
found
kind
so
of
odd.
Like almost chalky, but not chalky.
So I wonder. I don't know the specifics, but
That makes sense.
interesting.
And because the goat's milk has more higher concentrated fatty acids, that's what allows it to have that tangy flavor, and why it's more creamy and smooth. And the cow tends to be more firm. Cow's milk cheese is more firm. So, how does everyone like this one?
I don't have any don't like them.
Perfect.
So must like them.
Do you want me to go into the chocolate?
Yeah.
Oh, one question for
Oh, yeah.
Ryan, who loved the Humboldt Fog. Can you go back how far? When was the first goat milk cheese made? Do we know how far back these go? Or in history terms?
Thanks, Brian.
Ryan's on ya.
There's probably some story
Hundreds of
of
years
it,
ago.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
I remember reading that hundreds of years ago when we were talking about like the ash with the cheese. So
Also, fun fact. I should not
We
say
need a
fun.
bell or
I
something for
know,
the fact.
We should. I would love that.
Do they have goat bells?
They do have goat bells.
You
They're
should-
smaller, but they're so
need a
cute.
goat bell.
We need a goat bell.
I have something to add.
Apparently, across the world, more people drink goat's milk than they do cow's milk. See, Gina knows. I know.
Wow. I didn't know
I guess
that.
Africa, India, there's a lot of goats in those places, and I mean, goats are way easier to keep.
Way easier.
They are one of the
Way,
first
way.
domesticated. One of the. You really nailed it.
Took her a second.
It did, but I love it.
And goats were one of the first domesticated animals, like on farms
Oh,
and stuff.
cool.
Yeah, so
Nice.
that makes sense.
We visited some goats recently at our manager retreat. It was the cutest thing. We fed all the
Aw.
baby goats. They were so sweet.
Did you do goat yoga?
No. They don't need to touch me, but I'll stand there and look at
But
them.
I'll drink their milk.
Yeah.
Wow, you're just like, give me your milk.
But so in the top right corner, we have a little play on flavors. We have some dried dates, and then we also have this Chuao chocolate. It's their bacon flavor because a common appetizer is goat cheese stuffed dates wrapped in bacon.
Wow.
Delicious.
Am I supposed to eat this all together?
Yeah, why not?
Yes.
Okay.
Go for it. I don't know about with the the cranberry. I don't see why not,
Okay,
but definitely
yeah.
like the herb one or the
Oh,
Humboldt
okay.
Fog.
See, I've already made a mistake.
But Chuao is a local chocolate maker in Carlsbad. They make all kinds of fun flavors. This one is milk chocolate and bacon and sea salt. One of my favorites. They make a potato chip flavor that's really good. They really focus on classic European chocolate making technique. Everything is super small batch. They say that they use recipes in a kitchen rather than formulas in a lab. You know, it's really just classic chocolate making. But local chocolate maker, we carry all of their flavors because they're all so unique. They did just come out with a pumpkin spice flavor for the holidays, but I thought the bacon would be really nice with the dates and goat
Smart.
cheese. Kind of just, you know.
I just had dates with stuffed and goat cheese wrapped in bacon
You did?
at a wine bar downtown.
Yeah. And they're very easy to make. I made them in the air fryer. It worked out lovely.
You're
Messy,
but delicious.
but delicious. Yes.
Quick question from Kristen. Again, is there a local goat cheese maker, San Diego area?
Local to San Diego, I'd say probably not a large maker. Maybe like some Joe Schmoes in their basement that sell at the farmers market, but not like Cypress Grove size. Stepladder,
Closest.
where are they?
Cambria, Paso Robles.
Okay, so but not like San
Is that on
Diego. We've had a few stepladder cheeses. A lot of them I feel like come in super small format. A lot of goat cheese is more smaller format because they produce so much less milk than a cow.
Yes, like 6 to 8 pounds daily, whereas a cow is like 120 pounds daily. So a huge difference.
We have nothing here in San Diego. I don't know how hard it is to make goat cheese yourself. Like, can you make
think it's
fresh
that hard.
Chevre? I think is the issue getting goat's milk. That's the hard part is getting the milk. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if you can find someone with goats, try making your own goat cheese.
I want to one day. It'll be fun.
Let's get a goat.
Yeah, I mean, my wife used to have a goat as a friend. She told me to tell you guys if it came up, so I guess I did.
Wait. What was her goat's name?
Okay, no, that was her sheep's name.
There's a sheep and a
Her
goat.
sheep's, her name was Sarah.
Her sheep's name was Sarah.
Her goat's name was Charlotte, so I just wanted to throw that out there. So it is, goats are nice pets.
I love it. That's so cute.
Sarah
Kristina
the
would have been a
sheep.
good name.
Love it.
All right, I think we're moving on to the third.
All right.
All right, third is that soft one with the herbs on it. I'm gonna pick mine up.
I'll take mine over.
There we go.
You don't need to.
Capricho de Cabra, which means whim of the goat. And if you'll notice, like right away, it's like super dense, creamy. It comes from Murcia, Spain, and the producer is Mitica.
It's this guy right
Yes,
here.
and
This
it's made
one.
from Murciana goats. And Murciana goats are really cool because their milk is higher in fat, and that's what gives it that delicious flavor. It's very creamy, rich, slightly sweet.
Smells really good.
Although apparently Nubian goats actually have the highest amount of butter fat.
Where are Nubian goats from?
I believe Africa originally.
This one smells really good. We use this one in
one's
our
so good.
goat cheese, our pepper goat bites, the little sweet peppers, pickled peppers stuffed with goat cheese. This is the ones we use.
And it's totally different from the cranberry chevre we just tried. It's more tangy, more earthy.
It is totally richer, you're right.
Well, let me have a taste.
Thanks for doing my arm coming in.
I have mine, so.
Oh, very good.
It's like point of view. It's like.
Is this the one you wanted to taste the surprise beverage with?
Oh, it is. Yes, right behind you, please. I heard that this type of cheese is really good with stouts. So.
She read it somewhere on the internet, so we have to test it out.
Yes. And it's supposed to be because this cheese is so, like the mouthfeel, it's so like creamy and rich that the beer is supposed to be able to cut through that creaminess so you can taste the cheese and the beer more. So if you have stout at home, let Gina know and you can have your own experiment.
Let's try it.
Cheers.
Guys. We'll test out wild internet theories.
The texture really is so different than the Humboldt Fog.
It's so fun tasting things like this. Like we taste so many things when we're working, but not necessarily.
Mostly to make sure it's like, you know, still good, or like, is this wheel taste different than this wheel? But the learning part still is nice.
All right, let's test out this stout fury. So what'd you say, Sarah? Take a bite of the cheese and then.
Yeah, taste the cheese on its own, then taste the beer on its own, and then kind of taste a bite of cheese, sip of beer, taste it.
Ryan concurs. The stout is great with the cheese.
Concurs.
Thank you, Ryan.
I like it.
Yeah, guys, this is shocking.
Creamy.
I'm surprised.
Christina coming in with the internet facts.
Just because I feel like usually with goat cheese you're suggesting like a Sauvignon Blanc, like a Loire Valley white or something, which is like high in acidity and kind of light, and it pairs nicely. And I would have been like a stout would be way too heavy for this, but it's awesome.
Well, because goat cheese is also acidic. So acidic wine, acidic goat cheese, it's like.
So why does this work?
Because of the bubbles. It cuts
Contrasting.
through the,
sorry.
it
And
cuts
it's
through the creaminess.
contrasting flavors rather than compared. Yeah.
And the goats, so it's like high in fat, and they're not free range, and that's because goats will eat anything, tin cans, trash, and that's going to affect the milk, which affects the cheese. I don't want tin can milk, so I just thought that was interesting too.
It's kind of like the pigs where they make the Iberico, Hamoni Iberico, like they eat the acorns, and that gives it like the fatty.
Exactly.
But you don't want that.
No.
Goodness.
It is produced, the importer of this is Forever Cheese. It's the largest importer in Spain for cheese, and it also, they like to they ship their cheese instead of by plane because they can control the temperature on the boat.
They do it by boat.
They do it by boat instead of plane.
Yeah, which I think, I love details like that, like from the very beginning to here in the shop, just so much attention to detail goes into cheese.
And they source all our Marcona almonds and Kiko's, right? The Mitica Forever cheese.
Yeah. Also says a cab would be really good with this type of cheese too, because it's so strong.
I think the herbs would be nice with a crab.
I put this on salads. It is just, I mean.
Yeah.
It goes good with the dates too. And then did you talk about the peppadews? That's what we stuck
Yeah,
the
we stuck
peppadews
the peppers with those, yeah.
And it's that sweet and then salty.
I'm eating it with the dried cherries over here. It's really good.
How does everyone else
even
like it?
tasted one of the dried cherries.
Oh, it's way better than cranberries.
Way better than cranberries. Yeah.
They're more juicy, not as dry, like prickly as the dried cranberries. What I thought was super interesting about our plate tonight is that all of the cheese is from different countries. Like we found 5 different
Oh,
goat
nice.
cheese
Oh,
items
yeah.
from 5 different countries. So we have, United States, France, Spain, and we'll go into the next surprises.
Thank you.
Oh, you're going to talk about the seasonality of goat cheese, right?
Yes. So goat cheese is traditionally produced in the spring. And that's because goats
That's when they produce their
produce their milk.
They kid in the spring.
That's when, that's when they reproduce.
Yeah, April to October is the best time for goat cheese to get that richest, freshest goat cheese.
Guys, there has to be some pun with April Fools and kidding, you know, 'cause
No
goat
kidding.
babies are kids. I don't know. We'll work it out
Work on that.
next time.
Yeah, somebody help us. Shoot us in the comments.
But it's really hard, like economically, for farmers to only produce the goat cheese in the spring. And so what they do sometimes is they'll find a way to get the goats to breed anyway. You read something about how they mess with their minds.
Yeah, like their circadian rhythm. They'll like black out windows and stuff because as the days get shorter or longer, I'm never very good at where it goes with that. Shorter, right?
Shorter
as the winter
in
and then
winter.
longer in the spring. They will like black out the windows or something so that they think it's the spring. Because it's basically based on the light, I guess.
Yeah.
So I don't know the specifics, but it's crazy.
And they also sometimes use frozen summer milk. And then it won't be as good, just like, what was the analogy I gave?
Freezing summer peas.
Summer peas. It's a treat in the winter, but it's never quite as good. So, yeah, and I never knew that, and I thought that was really cool. And
know, I
sheep are
never-
the same way too. I think that they only milk certain times of the month, times of the year.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. But everyone likes this one. What's the favorite so far? I always like to check in.
We'll ask.
Humboldt Fog's one of my favorites.
Mhm.
Oh, I know Gina's always into eating the herbs on your plate.
Yes.
The
rosemary.
Oh,
this
yeah.
little
Is that chamomile?
white flower.
The white
This
one.
is a garlic blossom. Yeah. So this
So I
is a
can
little.
eat. Oh yeah, they're edible.
I don't have one.
It's from garlic. Here you go.
Get
you
it?
eat
Oh.
it. I'm not gonna
Oh,
eat
Yeah,
it.
the
sorry, I
last
took the
class
whole
we
one.
did,
That's
was
okay.
it the Alpine class?
Alpine was last. We ate the
Take a little
rosemary.
Yeah, she was eating the chive blossoms.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Well, and look, this is
love
a
that.
this
Basil
one's kind of sad, but it's a purple basil blossom.
Oh
So,
my God, that's so
purple
good.
basil, the flower that comes from it.
Ooh, it's really good with the capriccio.
I'm gonna try the
This
basil
thing?
with
Yeah.
the Humboldt Fog.
Oh, that is yum.
You try these.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
that's
try
really good.
basil with the Humboldt.
That would be so fun as a little like appetizer thing
Oh, it's
to
actually
put
good.
little pieces of that with like.
Try with the purple basil.
Oh really?
It's
Is it
almost
good too?
On the Humboldt Fog.
It's really strong.
Yeah, it
Too
is.
good.
Take
It's
a
almost-
very small little.
Okay.
Herbs
It's
are
almost,
best.
It's the garlic one here. Do you guys want to try
Wow.
this one?
Oh.
It's really good.
Oh my gosh, the purple.
It's almost
basil.
numbing. It has like a numbing.
Like a
you
heat.
feel
Did
that?
it get you?
Uh huh.
2 votes for Fog, 1 vote for Pascal, the cranberry.
These flowers are really good.
I'm going capriccio.
I like
I'm
it.
going
I-
capriccio too.
I feel like in the past I've tried the capriccio and I didn't like it, and I wasn't sure if it was the herbs or the goat cheese flavor. But then I had the plain version. I didn't really like that either, and I couldn't figure out why. But trying it now, I like it. I mean, your taste buds
Yeah.
change, but I don't know why I thought I didn't like it in the past. The texture is just so nice.
I like the peppercorn one too. They make I think like a green peppercorn
Green
or something. It's
peppercorn.
like kind of spicy.
Paprika, rosemary,
Oh, paprika.
I've seen the
and
paprika.
the cheese log. They're all the
So
same.
bad.
It's just different.
Kind
Right.
of like the Pascal Bayveer, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
So in the past, we've done some classes about making your own appetizers. So we did little goat cheese balls, and we took the plain capriccio cabra, and then we coated them in edible flour. So when they give us the wheel out blossom, which is Austrian German Alpine cheese, they sent it's coated in edible flowers. They send an extra pack of flowers. We coated the goat cheese in those flowers, and
Oh.
it's so pretty and floral, but also the flowers start to stain the goat cheese, so you can see it start to like bleed into the goat cheese. It's so cute.
That's
Sounds
awesome.
pretty.
Yeah.
Something you can make yourself. I mean, you can buy edible flowers at most grocery stores now, or go to specialty produce downtown. Anyone can shop there, and you can make your own fancy little goat cheese appetizer with edible flowers.
Aren't there
love
some
it.
small format cheeses that come in around the holidays or something that have those edible flowers? Have we ever gotten those?
Yes.
Or maybe Valentine's Day? I
We
don't
have.
know. I don't remember
Blanking
what
on
it's
the
called.
name.
Yeah, me too. I don't know.
But there
Golden
is a soft
flowers.
goat that has the flower. Does Cowgirl Creamery make a flower one?
Oh, do they? Probably.
I
like
feel
a
like
Mount Tam
with
but
flowers.
I
I could be.
They do.
Oh, Monet has flowers.
Monet.
Yeah.
Nice. Makes sense.
Ryan's dog is getting the cheese crumbs and loves them.
Oh, that's also Kristina's dog.
Yes.
Yes.
Miss Dakota.
The dog is lucky.
Yes.
You know, we have customers sometimes, you know, people love their animals. This one time,
For
this
good
customer
reason.
was like trying to decide how much prosciutto to get. And I'm like, oh, this guy and this guy. Oh, the dog will probably have a few slices. So give me 15 slices. And I was like, okay, I like it. I agree.
That's funny. Think of the dogs.
Yeah. They gotta eat good too.
Yeah, it isn't always soft. This is an aged goat cheese. It's aged at least 100 days. It's from the island of Sardinia, which is known for sheep milk cheeses. So this is very rare for Italy to have a goat cheese. I love this one. And Sarah knew I was gonna love it too. Like before I even tried it, she goes, "Yeah, it's on your profile of all the other cheeses you like."
It's one of my favorites.
It's crazy how it tastes like a pecorino to me. Like I have a really hard time distinguishing it.
The recipe is the same as Fiore Sardo. Which
Oh,
is,
really? Just with goat's milk?
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
feel like it has a little more tang. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, it's
little.
definitely different. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Maybe it's the tanginess. Yeah.
Aged goat cheeses, they don't taste super goaty. Usually they're more nutty, sweet, sharp, that sort of thing.
You get the nutty on this one.
They've been making it since the 60s when goats were introduced to the island, which I think is really cool.
And it's aged like 3 to 6 months.
100 days.
100 days.
Yep, and that
Oh.
helps temper the
That goes into
Yeah.
the
Matt, guys, Matt.
the goatiness of the milk. So it makes it this pleasing, robust, salty, little sweet. To me, it tastes just like what's the pasta with the pepper.
Oh, cacio pepe.
Ooh,
Just
it would
like
be
that.
good in that.
You could use that for sure.
Yeah.
And you can shave it, grate it really easy. This is a really good. The rind.
It has a little bit of a wax. Right.
Yes.
Slight.
You can skip the rind if you accidentally ate it. It's all good.
It's food grade wax, so.
This would
Is that
go-
so? Can you technically eat the wax on a Gouda?
You're not going to die.
You're not gonna die.
I know you wouldn't. Sorry. You shouldn't and you wouldn't.
We're not gonna make anything.
I guess it is food grade wax. That's what I was curious.
So if you eat it, don't freak out.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
What about the honeycomb? People ask all the time, like, what do I do with this wax in the honeycomb?
And when people are like, what do I do with this? I'm like, you eat it.
You eat it.
But the texture is funky, but it's all edible. I think you're never just eating a spoonful of honeycomb, and if you are, good for you. But most of the time it's on a cheese, on a cracker, on a piece of bread. You're not really going to notice the texture. You're really not.
I just tried honey with the paneleo. It was good.
I know, I'm not a sweets on cheese kind of gal, but I'll try it.
Really? Did you not try the bacon chocolate with?
No, I didn't. I'm a mustard,
Interesting.
more acidic. But we're
Go
gonna,
back
for
to that.
science.
For science.
See if I can get the texture of the honeycomb.
You were also saying earlier with the Humboldt Fog, like the cream line, it'll get more intense when you eat the cream line as opposed to the paste. Like, I think you guys talked about this already in other Fromage with friends, but it's the same on every cheese. It's like the closer you get to the rind, kind of the funkier tasting it's going to get. So it's really fun, especially in like a cloth bound cheddar or some like really big wheel to like taste the inside and then taste the bit right next to the rind.
Yeah.
Like you can really tell the difference.
Yeah.
Like Gruyere. When we we get quarter wheels of Gruyere in because they're so big. But we cut it in half, so it gets like an eighth of a wheel. So it's like this huge triangle, and if you're one of the first customers to get in on that eighth, we'll cut off the nose for you because we have to manipulate the cheese so that we can cut it otherwise. But if you get that little nose piece, that's the center of the wheel of Gruyere. That's gonna taste the best. That's like the treat of the cheese.
So ask for it.
Yeah.
Go to the cheese shop.
Oh, great. Now we're like,
Sorry.
we're out of
give
the
it to
hard cheese.
2 things, recommendations. Kristen, Pantaleo with rosemary, which I'm always a fan of rosemary. I would say yes. And Annie says, Kristina, drink your wine.
Me and Rachel are like, we got empty. Okay, we got bottle number 2.
I'm a lightweight, so if I drink
This
too
is
much
in
during
water?
class, I won't remember anything.
You don't need to remember. All you need to remember is that you did a good job.
You know, I've never drank a lot during the class. Maybe
you should start.
so I won't be so nervous.
It's just so good with these cheeses. It really is.
It really
When you
is.
Find
This
like
is
something nice.
a lot lighter Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to use the word watery with wine, but it's like a very clean, lighter easier drinking.
Yeah, it's not like super
Sauvignon Blanc.
minerally, like it's not like the stones hit you in the face sort of thing, and it's really wonderful with the cheese.
I do like it a little bit less chilled. That's my kind of preference
Oh,
for
really?
wine. You know, fresh out the fridge. We
Fresh
said
out
this
the
earlier.
fridge.
FOT.
Fresh out the fridge.
FOT. I like my sparkling wine fresh out of the fridge, like really cold,
me
almost
too.
ice cold. And then whites, rosés, I like, you know, sit on your counter for like 15, 20 minutes, then try drinking it. It just brings out the juiciness, I think. It's not
Same
so...
as cheese, right? I mean,
Yeah.
take it out an hour before you're gonna serve. It definitely tastes different both ways. And you were saying the other day that you liked, what was the cheese you liked? Cold versus
Honeybee, goat Gouda.
You like that?
I like
really
it
cold.
like really cold.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I like it cold.
Yeah.
I know, weird. We shouldn't be telling people. Okay,
Gina's making some faces.
I am. I'm making faces. I've not
Like,
tried
oh, no.
either. These are all news to me, but I like it.
I'm trying the
Learn something
rosemary
every day.
and Pantaleo Kristen.
Yes.
So,
Talk to us, Sarah.
Oh,
I'll eat rosemary every time.
Research.
Everything. So good.
delicious. I like the rosemary.
I'll try the rosemary too.
One petal.
One. That's
One.
all I need.
All right. This
Otherwise, it's too much.
Pantaleo also goes really good with like shellfish, so like crab.
Real?
But cheese with seafood. But I feel like this is the way to do it with the hard aged and very like pepper forward.
Oysters too.
Would you just like microplane a little bit on top? Is that the
And like a baked oyster.
What's that?
oysters Rockefeller?
Yeah.
Oysters Pantaleo.
Yes.
We're gonna open up a restaurant. We're gonna have Oreo cheese and
It's gonna be
Cheese in
crazy.
every course. Do not come to us if you're lactose intolerant.
that's
Or
what you call it.
gluten-free.
We can serve some aged cheeses. It'll be okay.
That's true. That's true.
How do people like Pantaleo?
Loving it.
I love it.
Love it with rosemary, honey, everything.
I should have said this earlier when we were doing the French cheese, but there is a French cheese called Valençay. Is that how you say it? And it is like a pyramid, but the top is lopped off, and you guys have probably seen it. And it's ash ripened, and it kind of looks like the Montenegro. It's darker as far as I know. But anyway, so apparently this is a real legend has it, because who knows? Apparently it used to be pyramid shaped, but during Napoleon's time he was defeated in Egypt where the pyramids are. So according to legend, his like first officer or something demanded that all the Valençays be like cut off the top, so he wasn't reminded of his horrifying, embarrassing
I like his
defeat
style.
in
That's what I would
Egypt.
do. Heady.
He's like,
Passive aggressive.
let's not
like-
upset him. So who knows? But
I love
That's a
it.
fun story.
I would totally do that. That's my style.
that's your style.
Who
That's
did any
awesome.
better than that one?
Oh, and then I have, this is science hour over here.
I love
Ding, ding,
it. You're wearing a lab coat next time for sure.
We were talking about just kind of the texture and everything, but also the color of the goat cheese, you'll notice, is
yes.
super, super white. As opposed to other cheeses, and the reason is because the beta carotene that colors the cow's milk and sheep's milk and would color goat's milk, but in goats it's metabolized entirely into vitamin A, which might lead to the fact that you said there's more vitamins in goat's milk. I'm not sure, but either way, so there's no coloration. Goat's milk is pure white, and the cheeses made should be pure white unless they add any coloring. So
Do you know of any goat cheeses where they add coloring?
No.
Because like when you add a natto to
Yeah,
cheddar,
right,
Goudas,
right, right.
I'm like, why don't you have a natto colored goat cheese?
Never heard of that.
I wonder if it's like the opposite. You know how they add a natto to cow's milk sometimes to be like, oh, the cows are healthier because when it's grass fed, it's a little
That's
darker
right,
in color.
that's right.
Maybe it's like the pure white symbolizes like
Yeah.
this is pure.
This is great quality.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
I
that
don't
makes
know.
sense.
That's a good question though.
Which one looks the
Think about
whitest?
What do you think, Sarah? Obviously, the
whitest.
aging has done something to the Pantaleo. I assume that's the aging.
Yeah, to give it a little
Process.
gold. Ballerina, remember, was a little more golden. That's the
yeah.
only one that I've ever seen a different color.
I didn't even realize that was
Yeah.
goat
Is it
But a
aged?
little aged. It's because it's super aged.
Okay.
Super aged.
It's like the Euphoria. It's in that same little shape, right?
Mhm.
Oh,
Same
yeah,
shape.
yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, cool.
But a little more gold. But I think that's an age thing. But you're right, everything always white.
Yeah.
Best for last.
The best for the last.
The most interesting for last.
Listen, I think we should all try it at home before we talk about it. That way we're all on the same page.
All right, I'm gonna try it
Do we
again.
have to?
Yes, for research, for science.
Okay.
I'm gonna like shave a little piece off.
I just took a big old bite.
It's not fudge.
Here,
It's
Gina.
cheese.
It's not fudge.
All right. This cheese
Okay.
is called Yay Toast. Yay Toast!
Yay, toast.
In case you need help saying it's the only probably word I can say super
How's
easy.
it spelled? Because they don't. Oh, we have it on the lid, but it's G-J-E-T-O-S-T.
Yay Toast.
Exactly how it sounds.
This might be good with the stout too.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. I read that
Sticks
on
to
the
your
internet too. It's from Norway. Thoughts, comments, concerns. It's
Concern.
Okay.
it's sweet.
The flavor is not terrible. It's like a salted butterscotch.
Mm-hmm.
It's for me. It's the texture. I mean,
Yeah,
the
me
texture's
too.
good. It's fudgy, but it's a little grainy.
You don't like that grain?
I don't think I do. Not in this instance. I like a crunchy Gouda, but this is like when you make caramel and the sugar's not cooked out, it's grainy. That's what makes me think of it. That's what I think of.
You know, it might
It
be
is
the
really
wine
salty.
coffee. It's actually not that bad.
It stuck to my
Sorry.
mouth.
It's
Let's
it's
quote
not
you.
my
Not
favorite,
that
but
bad.
it's
Not that
everyone has their preferences, and that's why cheese is awesome.
Well, so what is it?
So,
How's it made? Great
It is
question.
made from the whey of goat's milk. Not
Way cool.
Way cool. we should put that on our Venissimo shirts.
That would have been a good
Yeah.
one. Way cool.
Texture. All right. So, in case you don't know what whey is, it's that liquid that remains after the cheese starts to curdle. That liquid, that is whey. So, that is what this cheese is made from, and it's a very time-consuming process. So, they start with the whey, they add milk, and they add cream, and it slowly heats up until it starts to caramelize, and then you end up with this fudge-like texture. There's it's really popular in Norway, Iceland, Denmark, Sweden, and there's 12 different variations of this type of cheese with different levels of sweetness. And I'm really interested to know what people think about it already.
So Steph Bloom said it's delicious with the dark chocolate. I would agree because it's caramely, like you said, butterscotchy. So
that
try
makes
it, per Steph, and said that his aunt was Swedish and grew up eating it.
Oh.
So it makes sense.
Yeah.
Swedish Norwegian, eating it. Shave it over bagels.
That's what I heard. A
Good.
fine shaving over hot
Fine shaving.
toast, and it's
Mhm.
like a breakfast. They have a
Delicious.
little cinnamon sugar.
It goes good with coffee. 'Cause that
It makes me
produces-
think of how you make homemade dulce de leche
Oh.
with the sweetened condensed milk that you cook and cook and cook until it's caramelized.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
kind of the same.
You want to try it with a little? I took half of the chocolate.
Oh,
I don't
so
know.
yes, I will.
We-
Thank you.
We were all working together today. Christina's texting us this morning oh, we're preparing for the class. What do you think about trying some Yay Toast fondue? Rachel and I are what?
Nobody said anything for
Well,
an hour.
Crickets.
I think Rachel's response was, ugh.
This was a first though, ever. The Yay Toast fondue.
How did it turn out? I mean,
How did it turn out?
again, not terrible.
It wasn't that bad.
No, it wasn't.
So what we did was, we planed some of the Yay Toast. Oh, it looks like this. What do you want?
Yeah, this little
so
cube.
it's like a little cube. Ski Queen. That's what it's labeled here in the States. And then back in Norway, it's called ski cheese because that's when you go hit the slopes and you need a little snack.
You got some Yay Toast in
That's
your
some Yay
pocket.
Toast. So, so we planed it in the fondue pot. We added milk and cream, a little brown sugar, and it looked like caramel. It was
did. It looked like caramel.
And we tried bananas and pound cake and
Pecans.
pecans. Pecan.
I say pecan pie, but then I say pecans.
Pecans.
Okay, that's
Caribbean.
much
Tomato,
like French.
tomato.
Who knows?
Tomato, tomato. Apples.
And I
You could
like
do
apples.
apples.
Apples
Yeah,
is huge with
Kristen
this cheese.
said that.
Yes,
She
yes,
did.
Yes.
She said it again here.
Yeah.
And the look on their faces were like,
I was surprised. I was pleasantly surprised. There we go. Let's put it that way. It was like a caramel. When I tried it both times, it was kind of lukewarm, a little bit cold.
Mhm.
I think if it was a hot caramel sauce, maybe even over ice cream. like hot, like super sweet vanilla ice cream, because it was a little bit salty, it was a little bit savory. So like I would say vanilla ice cream, hot fudge, yay toast fondue.
Let me ask you, if you
I would
didn't
eat
know
that.
what it was, would you like the taste? If you didn't
I'd be
think
a
it
little
was
bit
cheese-
confused because it looks like caramel, but it's that savory salty. It is sweet, yes, but it's also savory salty. So I'd probably assume it was salted caramel sauce. But I think you need some sweetness with it.
Yes. Yeah, because the pound cake and the bananas were my favorite.
They were sweet.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it balanced.
Yeah.
And then I think it would be good in like apple pie, because people put like cheddar cheese.
Cheddar in their apple pie.
So I think it would be good in that. Like oatmeal too. I think it would be good.
yeah. That's
Oatmeal.
really good.
Um,
Like a breakfast pastry, like a turnover or something.
oh yeah. And then I think like in stews, like gamey kind of stews, it will kind of help cut that gaminess.
Like a lamb
Mhm.
stew.
And like Swedish meatballs added to the sauce. the
Oh,
creamy
is that a
sauce.
thing?
Yeah. So I'm gonna try that
The
next
Swedish
week.
meatballs are a little sweet. Not Swedish.
Well, they are.
And it's
Swedish.
sweet-ish.
They're sweet.
The yay toast is supposed to be good with the stout
yeah.
too. So here we
I
go.
have to taste the yay toast
You
again.
still have? Do you have some?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm good here. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick to some wine.
It definitely is a polarizing cheese, and that's okay. Like, just because some of us don't like it doesn't mean that it's not worthy of some
You should
space in
rephrase
our
that.
face.
Just because Kristina is the only one that kind of likes it.
Just because Kristina and Gina like it.
oh yeah.
It's
Yeah.
very unique.
And that-
I feel like if
yeah.
you're interested in cheese, you have to try this cheese. It's
Yeah.
all about learning and experience. And
I like
yeah,
it.
you're right. Just because we don't like it, we still want to learn about it. It's a very interesting thing.
Yeah.
I like it with the stout, and I think it's because it's very
Yeah.
rich and creamy, and the stout has that chocolate coffee
Oh,
to
yeah.
it.
Try it with the stout and the chocolate.
Isn't that weird though that the stout worked really well with something that isn't aged, that's super fresh, tangy, that sort of thing, and also with something that's more caramelized and sweet that
Oh,
you would
yeah.
normally pair a stout with?
That's super good.
Right.
Pairing,
This
that's
is the
what-
cool stuff you discover when
Yeah,
you just start trying
just try.
stuff.
That's my favorite part of pairings is, we have a pairing wheel that you can get and it tells you what to pair with certain wines and certain beers. But like working here for so long, trying so many different things, it's like, why not try this? Why not try this? And you find the most random things that are just perfect together that you would never put together. Like just because you read on the internet that, Sauvignon Blanc pairs with goat cheese isn't always the case. And exactly, we found a different beverage that pairs equally as well with the goat cheese. And so don't follow this Rob what says all the time. What are the rules? There
No
are no
rules.
rules. So
That's
just-
really true.
There isn't. Just try whatever you have in your fridge, whatever you've got in your glass, on your plate. Try everything and see kind of what you can come up with, because you never know what more interesting thing you're going to find.
Here's
Yeah.
one. Kristen said, toss your Yatos in chili. To me, that'd be like
Ooh.
almost
Like
like mole-esque.
mole.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah,
It's going to go to
totally.
the mole direction. Mm-hmm.
Smart though, a little bit of sweetness.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe thicken it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the survey?
I know, survey
So
says.
absolute favorite, everyone?
Wait, I want to know, because Kristen, funny story. Kristen is a longtime virtual cheese eater turned Finissimo monger. So she works with us now, and she bet us some money that her husband would love the Yatos.
that's true.
And I really want to know if he did.
Yatos.
Well, how much money?
But yeah, does
Did
everyone
Rob love
like
the Yatos?
She
Okay.
bet us a block of Yatos.
Super good. I put out the vote. Absolute favorite. Let's see.
I was telling Sarah earlier that in the Oxford Companion to Cheese, I think that's what it's called, which Venissimo is in. Super excited, Gina's in it. I was like, oh my god, I gotta get you to sign a copy. It's just like so exciting.
I have that book.
Oh,
read it.
I have it too.
We're gonna bring it in next time. Yes.
Yeah. They don't really have a section for Yatos. It's just under concentrated whey cheeses, which makes
So
sense.
there are
But there are a
others?
few others, I guess. Yeah.
There's more in the world.
Brunos, Yatos.
Brunos,
It's
yeah.
just about
which
no
means
waste.
brown cheese. Brunos. I read that.
I mean, if you can make something out of the milk into curd, and then you make cheese, and then you turn the whey into something else, there's like
No waste.
Are we gonna do a concentrated whey cheese class?
Nope.
Here's your one cheese.
So Rob doesn't love it, but he
Okay.
was good and he would eat it.
Oh, okay.
He
Good to
would
know.
eat
Good to
it.
He
know.
would.
Okay.
Stranded on an island. He would eat it.
Oh, and it also melts really nicely. So you can make like a grilled cheese with this, technically. What's the berry?
You could, but what do
it
you
starts with
want?
an L, the jam, like.
I was like Limburger.
Lingonberry?
Lingonberry.
Yes,
Ooh, very Swedish again.
Swedish.
Yes, so
Yes.
that with this makes
Should
a
go to
really nice
IKEA. They'll
grilled
probably have it
cheese.
there.
They have
Yes.
great meatballs there, guys.
They
I
do,
love their
they
meatballs.
do.
Swedish
I
meatballs.
go just for the cafeteria.
I'm with you too.
Yeah. I mean,
I will
that's
go
a good
eat
deal.
at IKEA.
Ryan won't go with me to IKEA.
I'll go with you. Anytime.
You can do your bachelorette party at IKEA.
That'd be hilarious.
No, the next Fromage with Friends. That's why Rachel's here. We're giving her a little introductory class,
Yes.
but I think you'll stick. I mean, if you want to do
Yeah.
all the rest of them.
You're stuck.
I
You're,
just need a little bell.
I
That's
like
all.
it.
Yes.
Gotta get the goat
We're getting a
bell.
bell. It's on the list already. I put
Yeah.
it on right now.
Next Fromage with Friends, October 24th. I will not be here. It's the day after my wedding, so I'll be
Yay.
recovering. But it's going to be cheddar. So we're
Yeah.
super excited.
Yes.
We will definitely be doing rustic red, which is our most favorite orange cheddar, cut with a cookie cutter, pumpkin shaped. It's going to be like a Halloween cheddar
Wow.
theme. I told the girls they already have to dress up. They have to.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
So,
already
any
pre-ordered some
suggestions for
pumpkin
costumes?
cookies. Holy cow! I was holy cow last year. I wore a cow shirt and
That
some
you cut
wings.
holes in?
No, like the cheese.
I know, but it's.
I wore angel wings. I wore a cow
you-
shirt.
oh,
I was
that's
holy
cute.
cow.
Okay, guys, but technically, holy cow is spelled Holey, meaning like with holes. 'Cause
Yes.
It's a Swiss.
Yes.
But that's good. Good job.
Thanks.
I could be Saint Angel.
You could be
Oh,
Saint Angel.
yeah.
What other cheese? Oh my god.
There are so many options.
The
We're
cheddar
looking
next.
around
We
at the
have so
cheeses.
many favorite
OG
cheddars.
Crystal.
English
This
cheddars.
will be good.
Canadian
American
cheddars,
cheddars.
American cheddars. We'll definitely have to do like the Hook's 12-year
Yeah,
aged cheddar on
cloth
there.
bound
Cloth
versus
bound cheddar.
non-cloth bound.
Young versus
Rick.
old. English versus Wisconsin classic versus
Yeah.
American. Vermont. That's where the cloth bound comes from.
Yeah. Some, yeah.
Wool or Lincolnshire poacher. Is that a cheddar?
Yes, English.
English, okay. Yeah. So, bunch of fun things coming up October, and then December, everyone's favorite, blue cheese.
Sing it, Sarah.
Gina singing it earlier.
Is there a song?
Some
Is there a
Elton
blue
John
cheese?
song.
I guess that's why they're calling
Oh.
it the blue.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
But for that one, we're going to do our own port soaked Stilton. Super common
sounds
holiday
fun.
time.
Really
Yeah, so
nice.
we have a customer here at Del Mar that says she starts soaking her Christmas Stilton on Thanksgiving. So she gets her Stilton, pours port over the Stilton, has it soaking for Christmas, and it's super common, super delicious. So that'll be a special treat for December.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Everyone's anxious and waiting for the next two.
Good,
Yay.
good. Any final words?
Any last science facts?
I'm all scienced out. Guys, thanks for
I think-
listening to me and to us.
Yes, thank you.
Next up on the schedule, do we know what's next? Our Parktoberfest just got sold out, but maybe that'll become a yearly thing. If you want to be on the list for our Parktoberfest, it's Oktoberfest themed in the park. Shoot us an email, info@Finissimo, or even events at Finissimo, AOC at Finissimo. We'll get your name on the list for next year. Anything
Wino.
else? Wino Wednesday
10:20.
next week, 10:20. That's the next
It's a long
one.
way. It's the next
okay. It's a Tempranillo. It's a Ugia Tempranillo. We used to use it as our wine by the glass a lot because it's everyone's favorite. So,
Sign me up.
another cheers,
Me too.
everyone. Good night.
Good
Thanks so
night.
much for watching.
Cheers,
I hope you found a new
Cheers,
good
everyone.
time.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
And drink your wine.
And good night. All right, we are good. The